Hello and welcome to another session in mathematics. In this section, we'll be looking at trigonometry, and our focus today will be on angle of depression. But before that, let us take a review of our previous lesson. Welcome back. We are going to look at angle of depression. So let us look at the introduction of angle of depression. I told us last time that in trigonometry, we have what we call angle of elevation and angle of what? Depression, right? Angle of depression. And I told us that these two angles are used in measuring the height and distance of objects. Height and distance of objects. Okay? So, in our last class, we talked about angle of elevation. Today, we are going to look at angle of depression. The angle of depression is almost the opposite of angle of elevation. In angle of elevation, a man lifts his eyes to probably behold a bird, okay, flying or perching on top of a tree, okay, and then an angle is formed. That's what? Angle of what? Elevation. Elevation. But on angle of depression, a man who is above then looks down to see something that is what? Below. Let's assume a man on top of a tree looking down to see let's say a chick, and immediately he looked down, an angle is also what? Formed. An angle is formed. Now he looks down. Look at this. This is what? An angle. And then you can also as well form an angle like this. Is that right? So at this point we have what? Theta, and this is what we call what? The angle of what? Depression. Angle of depression. Do we understand now? So let's quickly take some examples on this. Number one, the angle of depression of a point P on the ground from the top T of a building is 23.6 degrees. If the distance from P to the foot of the building is 50 meters, calculate the height of the building correct to the nearest meter. Okay? The first thing we need to do, like I always tell us, is to illustrate this information on what? A diagram. We'll try to illustrate it in a diagram. Okay, let us start. So, we are told that the angle of depression of the point P on the ground from the top T is what? 23.6. So, let's take this to be the top T. Okay, so from here, this is our T, and from here moves what? The angle, and then this is the height. So we then join these two. Okay, we then join them, and this is the point what? T. At this point, an angle is formed. And we said that the angle is what? 23.6. Okay? 23.6. But we have what we call alternate angles. So the angle here is equal to the angle here. Okay? And because of that, we have here to be 23.6 degrees too. Alternate angles. Okay? Here is our P. We are told that the distance from P to the foot of the building is what? 50 meters. This is the building and this is the P, so here is 50 meters, and then we are asked to calculate what? The height. This is our height, the height of the building. Fine, let us start. Remember, this is angle 90. So from this diagram, this is our what? Hypotenuse. Is that correct? The line facing the given angle is our opposite, and this line is our what? Adjacent. So we want to find our what opposite, which is h, and the angle that is given is facing the opposite too, so that means we are using what? Tan theta. We have the opposite, we have the adjacent, so we use tan theta, which is equal to opposite over adjacent. Sorry, opposite over adjacent. Is that correct? So our theta is 23. Tan 23.6 degree is equal to opposite, and our opposite is h. Our adjacent is 50 meters. Okay, so making h the subject of formula, we then have that h is equal to tan 23.6 times 50. Okay, let's go over to the next page. Our h will be equal to, what's the value of tan 23.6? Someone check it. What do we have? We have 0.4369 then times 50, and that will give us 21.845. Then they said we should leave our answer in what? The nearest meter. So what's the nearest meter here? For round up, this is 8, then it becomes 1, add it becomes 22 meters. Okay, to the nearest meter. So our edge is equal to what? 22 meters. Let's take one more example. In the figure below, points B and C are on the horizontal plane, and line B and C is equal to 30 cm. A and D are points vertically above B and C respectively. Line DC is 40 cm. Line AB is 26 cm. Calculate the angles of depression of I, B from D, II, A from D, correct to the nearest degree. Okay, from the information, our BC is 30 cm, that is this. Our AB is 26 cm. Our DC is what? 40 cm. And then we are asked to find what? The angle of depression from B to D. This is B and this is D. Is that? So what do we need to do? We bisect here and join it to D. That's the first thing we do. We join it to D, and then let's call this angle here Y. And remember, an angle also is formed here, right? Okay, let us call it let us call this the angle X. Considering line B from D, we then solve using triangle BDC. Triangle BDC. Let's call this angle here Y. So if we draw it out, we have a triangle like this. This angle 90. This is our Y. Okay, now this is our C, B and D, and here is 30 cm, here is 40 cm. We are now solving for what? Angle Y. This is our hypotenuse, this is our opposite, and this is our adjacent. So we are dealing with opposite and adjacent, which is tan Y will then be equal to 40 over 30, which is equal to 1.333. okay, then Y is equal to tan inverse of 1.333. okay, and then our Y will give us 53 degree. Okay, then we have the B part of the question that said we should find A from D. Okay, so let us close this here and then also call this angle here S. We then find the length of D, let's call it DP. This is P. But remember, AB and BC is equal. AB is equal to line BC, and they are equal to 26 cm. Okay, so this is now DP will then be equal to 40 minus 26, and that will give us what? 14 cm. So here is 14 cm. Okay, and then we have to add this. AP is equal to BC. This is 30 cm. So drawing the triangle out, let me go to the next page. We'll have something like this. Here is our X. Here is 14 cm. This is 30 cm. Okay, let's go back. ADP. Okay, so to find this, remember this is angle 90. So here is our hypotenuse, this is our opposite, and this is our adjacent. And then we are looking at tan X to be equal to opposite over hypotenuse, which is 14 over 30, and 14 divided by 30 will give us 0.46666. Okay, then the value of X is then equal to the tan inverse of 0.46666. Therefore X is equal to 25.02, which is equal to 25 degree to the nearest degree, and that's the value of X and the value of what? Y. So we'll stop here today. Thank you for being a part of today's class. I hope you really enjoyed what we did. So to refresh your memory on what we've done, kindly provide the answer to the following questions on the screen. Welcome back. We'll stop here today. So far we've been able to deal with angle of depression, and we've taken some examples. So do well to use the lesson note on the platform for better information on what we've just done, and feel free to leave your comment or questions on the comment section. Till we meet again in our next class, stay safe and bye.